All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome, all my good people and worship leaders. I wanted to show you a quick video today of just a simple way to set up a song in arrangement view. So I have to do What a Beautiful Name It Is in just the original version. We're doing that this week. We've done that before, but we've done it in different versions. So I'm going to just start this one from scratch, and I figured since I was going to do that, I'll just show you guys exactly how I'm going to do that. So anyway, I go into multi-tracks. I've already purchased this song. So within my account, I should be able to just look it up. Yeah, so we've done it this version before, which is what I already have tracks for. And we have done this a while back, but it's time to redo the tracks because I don't have the tracks back from 2019. So let's see, we're doing this in the key of C. Let's see what I have available to download. So I do. So I'm going to request the key of C through multitracks.com and download that. That might take a minute or two because my internet is slow. But while we're doing that, I'm going to show you just a couple of things. So this is my weekly set for this week. So I'm going to back out by hitting the minus key, which will minimize and show everything in arrangement view from left to right. Again, this is a timeline. So this is the start of the service. Here's the top of the service. Song 2. So this is song 1, song 2. We have some free time here where I just have drone running for a long time while we talk and do announcements and set up. And then song 3. And then after song 3, everything's going to fade out right here. And then I leave a lot of time here for sermon in case whoever's running tracks forgets to hit the stop button. And then we get into song 4. Sorry, not this. Not using that this week. But song 4, rather, is right here. And this is What a Beautiful Name. So this is where I'm going to put the tracks this week. So it looks like the tracks are downloaded. I am going to put them... I have a stems file where I have raw stems and then worship multi-tracks completed. So the difference here for me is the raw stems are what I just downloaded directly from multitracks.com. I can't really use the raw stems within the set list without making some alterations to them, which I'm about to do now. Once I've made the changes and I now have a multi-tracks completed song, I put it in here, which is what then I'm going to drag into the set list. It'll make more sense in a second. So anyway, here's my downloaded file. I'm just going to drop that into the stems. So now I have that saved on my external hard drive for Park Ridge now for the rest of time. So theoretically, I wouldn't have to re-download the stems like I just did from multitracks.com. So anyway, let's go in. Let's find where I just put them. Looks like it is one of these. Is it this one or this one? Not that one. It's this one. Key of C. What a beautiful name. So I'm going to open that up. It's asked me if I want to save my set list that I was just showing you. So yeah, I'll save that. So this is what it's going to look like when you bring up just a brand new multi-tracks file. Just like this. So if you're familiar with what I just showed you before, you'll realize that this looks a little bit different because up at the top here, I don't have the tempo, I don't have the click track, I don't have the stop track and stuff like that. So basically up here, I don't have the 5 tracks for our template that's going to tell Ableton you need to recognize that this is a file that's usable for the set list, because we want all of our song files to be in the same arrangement template so that Ableton recognizes them and we're able to put them into a set list and be able to alter the click on the fly and stuff like that. So again, it may not make sense right now, but it will make sense the more you do this. So anyway, I have the Ableton template downloaded into my hard drive, which I could provide this to you, or on multitracks.com, you can download this from their website. But basically what I do is I take this template, which has all of these things I just talked about: click, tempo, stop, markers, original track. And I want to pull this Ableton file that has these tracks rather already built out, and it's going to be a template. So watch this. This is the area we want to drag this down to. And anytime we're dragging in any stems or any sounds or any type of files from this section, so I've added my external hard drive to this section of Ableton, which, by the way, if it's closed, if you see this, you're in session view, and you hit tab and it'll take you to arrangement view, and vice versa. So that was the tab button that does that. If you see this and you're like, where is my left panel section where I pull stuff in, which, by the way, took me forever to figure out when I first started because I didn't have anybody to tell me. It's this little button right here. It expands that. And then you might have to add a folder. In this case, I've already added the folder and added my external hard drive where I save all of my stuff. So now I have the template. I'm going to pull in the Ableton template into the drag and drop section, and it's going to add this, which is the 5 track areas that I have. So there's no data in here right now, but they're just placeholders. So I'll show you what we're going to do with that. I'm going to drag that to the top because in the template of my set, when I'm dragging stuff into a set list, I always have these at the very top. So this is telling Ableton this is the template that we're looking for all of our stuff. So now we have to start putting in information. So the first thing I'm going to do is whenever you get multitracks from multitracks.com or from Loop Community or wherever else you're getting sounds, most likely they're sending them to you not yet warped. What warping does is it tells all of these tracks to listen to whatever the leader track is. So in a minute, we're going to pull in click and tempo, and we're going to change those clicks and tempos to be the correct click and tempo that we want for the song. And we want all of these tracks to listen to the click and tempo track to say, this is the tempo we run off of. So if we did not warp them, and let's say we wanted to change the tempo of the song, it would not transpose the song accordingly, and it would sound really weird. By warping it, so what I'm doing is I'm selecting the top track, holding shift, selecting the bottom track, and that selects all of the stems now that I want to warp, and then I hit warp. So now by warping them, I've told Ableton to, if I change the tempo, don't change the integrity of the stem. Make the song still sound halfway decent. Sorry, my phone is ringing. What I also like to do, because I feel like it makes it sound better, is I change this beats drop down to complex or complex pro. I prefer complex. I think it sounds just a little bit smoother. So just so you know, beats makes it sound just a little bit choppy. I don't know how to describe it. If you just play around with these, like play the sounds and you'll play around with these, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I like to use complex for most of the stuff that we do, and it makes it sound the best. So now what we're going to do is expand out. I have all these warped. I have them set to complex. This would be a good time, by the way, if you wanted to transpose. I'm already in the key of C, but let's say I wanted to go up to a different key. So I could select the tracks that I want to transpose, Typically, I won't transpose drums and percussion because they don't really hold a note. But let's say like everything else has a note to it. Down here in transpose, I could select this and go up one full step by going 2 half steps. And now I would be in a new key. Let's keep it in the key of C. By the way, don't do the transposing without warping because you're changing the length of the notes of the stems. So basically by warping it, we're saying change the length of the notes of the stems enough to make it sound like a new key, but keep the integrity of the stem sounding the same. So always make sure they're warped before they're transposed. The first thing I do when I get new stems is I warp them so that everything else that I do from there is not changing the integrity of the stems. It's very important. So anyway, let's not belabor that too much. So now I'm going to drag in the click. What a Beautiful Name is in 4/4. So I'm going to drop down the template, which is in my template that I got from multitracks.com, and I'm going to pull in 4/4 count. So this is going to go into the click section, just like that. And it's going to give me this little file, this little stem here. Now this actually has some data in it. So if you see when I click onto it down here, this is showing me what all this is. So these are actual tones, notes that are built inside of the template, which are the click sounds. So if, I'm not gonna show you yet because I don't wanna mess it up, but these are the click sounds that we just pulled in. And I'm gonna expand this out all the way to the end of the song. And on this, I like to start it at 2, because if you start it at 1, you're going to get, let's see if I can get
1, 2, 3, 4.
So I don't want that guide voice because I have my own guide voice right here. So I'm just going to start it at bar 2. So now when I listen to this, it's just going to give me click sound. Cool. And next I'm going to pull in the tempo, which is now this is the BPM track. So I'm going to pull that into the tempo track, which is the second one here. And I'm going to pull that out to the end of the song. So this one I cover all of the stems. This one controls whenever you have the click sound happening. So I like to stop the click sound when the ending happens. So I stop the click sound here, but still the tempo is going to be remaining past the song, if that makes sense. So we've warped the tracks. We have in now the click sound. Now we need to tell the tracks and the click sound what BPM we're playing at. So What a Beautiful Name is originally in 68 beats a minute, which I like that. So we're going to play this song in 68 beats a minute. So I'm going to set down here. So what I did is I clicked the tempo track itself, and then down in this section, you have 2 different places to set click. Up here and down here. Don't change it here. This is what will automatically change if you set down here. So if you have in a set list 5 different songs and 5 different tempos, this track is going to be telling right here what to play all of these tracks in, 68 beats a minute. And then up here, it's going to automatically change to 68 during your set. And then if your next song, let's say, is in 100 BPM, the new song is going to set this to 100 and automatically change that to 100. So you don't ever have to change this because we're changing this. So I'll show you now. So I'm going to select the tempo track, and down here I'm going to put 68, and I'm going to set this from follower to leader. So now I just told everything that is in these stems and in these tracks up here, follow this leader. This is the leader track. So this leader track has the BPM set. So now if I want to change this leader track to 100 BPM, we would play all of these stems in 100 BPM and the click sound in 100 BPM. And because we've warped it, it would sound semi-okay. The more realistic example would be if we went from 68 to 70 because we wanted on the fly to play it a little bit faster, and it would sound perfectly fine. So anyway, I like to, at this point, just to test and make sure everything's sounding okay.
1,
What I want to do is
2,
take this click,
1, 2,
because Multitracks comes with a click track already installed. I don't like to use that one. I usually don't delete it, but I just mute it because I like to use my own click sound.
1,
So this is the sound we're
2,
hearing.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And at this point, I want to just make sure everything is okay. So I'll probably skip ahead towards a different part towards the end and make sure that it's all still lined up. Yeah, so we're lined up. And then I usually go to the end and make sure that it is lined up. So you heard that little retard at the end. That is a good reason why I like to drop out the click sound, because if that click keeps running, it's going to be a little confusing at the end. So right at the ending, I drop out that click. So we're good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this as a new song set. So we're going to go save as, find the location that you would like to save it to. In my case, again, I have raw stems where I pulled in the multitrack stems that I downloaded from multitracks.com. And then I also have these completed projects, which is what I'm working on currently. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to make a new folder. And then I'm going to call this is just how I like to name my stuff, so it's easy for me to look at the song file and know what it is. So what a beautiful name. MT stands for multitracks. That tells me that it's now a completed multitracks that I've already done all this work to, that's ready to pull into the set list. And then I put C for the key of C and 68 BPM. And if I had multiple versions, maybe I would put like extended version or shortened version or something like that, so that I can, as I'm looking for the song files when I'm putting my sets together, I know which one I'm pulling in. In this case, this is, I'm just going to call this one original version and save that. So now it's saved, but what I've done is I've just saved the placeholders. I have not actually saved the data that is within these. I'm not sure why Ableton requires you to kind of save things twice, but they do. So the next thing you have to do, and this is very, very important, is collect all and save. I wish that they just did this automatically, but they don't. So what this is telling Ableton now is collect all the data within these stems from wherever I got the data from the stems and collect it into this specific song file and save it to the new song file location, if that makes sense. That's how I've made sense in my mind, at least. So just know that you have to do this. Collect all and save, and okay. Every single time I save, I collect all and save. So I save everything twice. Like if I do Command S and save, I'm also going to go up here and file, collect all and save. I would do it as often as you save, just to make sure you're collecting everything that you've done. So this is good. This is workable. This is ready to go. The only extra step that I would do is add in your markers so that during the set list you can see where you're at. And I'll show you how quickly this can happen. But the hotkeys that I'm using is I select out the section that I want to set a marker, and it is Command Shift M, and it gives me this empty section of tracks. There is nothing here. It is just literally a placeholder that allows me to make a name called whatever the section of the song is. So now I'm going to go through every section of the song. This is very helpful on Sunday mornings. This is worth the time to do, trust me. It just takes a couple of minutes to do it, and you'll be happy you did. So I will spare you the boringness of going through all of this, but that's basically what it will look like once I'm all done. So again, I save, collect all and save. So now I have this, once I finish those, I have this completely finished workable file. And this is somewhat of a long video just because I'm trying to explain every little thing I'm doing. But once you get into the routine of doing this, it would probably take me maybe 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops, to create this song file that is ready to pull into the set list, which now I'm going to just go ahead and show you how I pull it into the set list. So we're going to go to the set that I'm working on this week. I'm going to close some of these down so that you can see what I'm working on. All right, so this is my set. Again, I want to put it, I have hotkey set to 4 for my last song, and I have a hotkey set to 1 for the top of the set list. So I'm going to now go find the stem. This is where it's nice to have things labeled appropriately because I have a lot of files and I can go through them quickly. But I can go to What a Beautiful Name project, which is the one we just did, and find the original full version. And here's all the stems from what we just did. And I'm going to pull it in to the drop section. So now it looks like this. So this is the start of what we just pulled in all the way to the bottom. So we have click, tempo, stop, marker, original track. It's in the wrong place of the set list right now. But if you notice, in my set list, I already have click, tempo, stop, marker, original track up at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just the portion from original track to click, and I'm going to drag out that section and Command X, which just cut that section. And then I'm going to go to 4 at the very top. See, I'm selected on the click, and I'm going to Command V, which pasted in what I just cut. And you can see I even don't have the markers done because I didn't finish that. And then I'm going to take this section, all of my stems, and cut that. And then without touching anything else, I'm going to hit the hotkey 4, which will take me directly over, and Command V, and I just pasted them in the correct spot. So now I have empty places of click, tempo, stop, marker, original track that came with the stems that I pulled in. So we don't need this. I'm going to delete that. And I also am not going to use this click track this week, so I'm going to get that out of the way. And the guide, I'm going to cut that and put that in its real guide spot because I like to just have one guide per week if I can. So now I have that and I don't need this. So now I'm getting very close to a usable file within the set. I could run this just like this if we want.
1, 2.
The only other thing I'm going to do is what we do is I'm going to put them into the different buckets, the folders here, which will allow me to route this to the board. But that's pretty much it. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope that you guys got a little something out of this. So thanks, guys, and good luck with learning Ableton.